Hi, my name's Riley Allen. This is my review of Season 1, Episode 11 of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, titled The Secret Serum. So, in this episode, we start off with an auction only for a vampire to swoop. The auction is run by Daphne's mom and her friend Sheila. Only for a vampire to swoop in at the last minute and grab the painting. Hey, just because it's a vampire doesn't mean it can't be cultured. Except this is Scooby-Doo, and that's not really a vampire, and it's probably not cultured either. Well, anyways, we cut to the gang, and they're lounging at Daphne's house, swimming in her pool. And I kind of like these little scenes, where it just shows them hanging out, doing random teenage stuff. Because it makes them actually seem like a friend group, other than just kind of like a group of people who are into just one thing and only do that one thing. And of course, this episode doesn't really show that the best way, because this is a fallout episode from the last episode's breakup between Shaggy and Velma. But nevertheless, once they find out about the vampire, they go on the hunt for it. They decide to split up, with Fred, Shaggy, and Scooby going one way, and Velma and Daphne just having pedicures and manicures because, boys suck. Also, I love Fred's little meta of, gang, we can't split up now. We can't split up until we get to the abandoned amusement park or abandoned factory, right when it's really dangerous and we're easily pick-offable. Ugh. Something like that. So the gang doesn't have any luck finding it, so, at the cemetery, blood bank, so they end up just kind of going above the cove. Well, Daphne and Velma find Daphne's mom sneaking out, so they decide to follow her, only to lose track of her. They think she's going to the botanical garden, so that's where they go. Lo and behold, they hear a screech. The boys hear a screech at the botanical garden, so they go, set up a trap, and end up catching Daphne and Velma. Well, the vampire comes in, and Shaggy and Scooby kind of try and stop him, but, it's Shaggy and Scooby. So, it takes something called a star orchid, or whatever. So, the gang regroups and goes to, I guess, a museum or whatever, run by Velma's mom, or parents. And there, Daphne finds a book on the ground. She goes to put it up, only for it to get thrown back again. She does it like 2 more times before the voice like, oh, come on. Basically telling Daphne point blank, this is the book you're looking for, sweetie. God. I'm pretty sure the voice is Ed Machine, who's we saw at the end of The Legend of Alice May, and we saw later this episode. And I just love him going back to Mr. E.B. like, are you sure these are the guys? They're kind of idiots. Anyway, in this book, it's a magazine, a celebrity magazine, and it is like a joke, immortal serum. But they come to the conclusion that someone thought it was real. The final ingredient is a blood ruby, blood diamond that's at the Darrow Museum, so they go to protect it. But not before stopping back at Daphne's house to find Sheriff Stone questioning Daphne's mom, as she's apparently a suspect. Also there is Daphne's mom's friend Sheila. Mrs. Blake friend Sheila. They go to the museum and they set up a trap. The trap fails. Also, at this point, Daphne's starting to think the vampire might actually be her mom. Back to the trap failing. Apparently, Fred knows his traps a bit too well, so he's like, oh, shit. Well, time to go for the second net. The second net almost fails, but Shaggy and Scooby come in and make it fall. We capture the vampire, and lo and behold, it's thankfully not Mrs. Blake. It's her friend, Sheila. Altutrunian or something. And her motive, her and Mrs. Blake are the same age, but Miss Blake looks a shit ton better than her. I guess her genetics are worse than Mrs. Blake's. Anyways, so she decided to do the convoluted plan of, instead of age gracefully, believe that a celebrity magazine holds the key to immortality. Yeah. We also find out that the reason Mrs. Blake has been skipping out at night is because she's getting a degree. She doesn't even know what the degree is. The degree is for. And this either tells me she is completely failing this class and she's going to bomb finals, or she has somehow, by some way, passed all the classes to finals just by sheer luck. But I don't believe that, because if she made it to the finals and she was passing, she'd know what her degree was for. But, anyways. The episode ends with the gang, still kind of on the rocks and going their separate ways a bit, with Ed Machine looking on at them. Overall, I'm going to give this episode a 6 out of 10. I don't know. It wasn't my favorite. It wasn't the worst. A 6 out of 10 is just fine for this episode. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.